Hey, it's Corey. If anyone's around, jump on. I am coming to you live from a classroom on campus here, so I might get kicked out. But I wanted to come on and talk a little bit about vulnerability because today in this very classroom where I'm standing, we had a discussion about one of our classmates, one of the students' classmates who recently passed in a car accident. And I wanted to share the amazingness that happened because I was willing to be vulnerable, and because of that, the students were phenomenal. Hey, Emily, so nice to see you. So, like I shared in my post today, one of our students in our class recently passed away in a car accident, and I wanted to make sure to talk about it in our class to discuss what it's like to feel like you lost someone, to what does that feel like, and how do you have a conversation about loss, because often talking about loss is really uncomfortable, and most people don't know how to discuss loss and are not comfortable with intense emotions. And so we went deep in this class. We talked about grief. We also talked about unsupportive ways to help someone when they're grieving, as well as supportive ways to help someone when they're grieving. But how I started it was I shared my own experiences with loss, losing a friend many years ago to suicide, to recently losing a friend to cancer, and then also losing my dog, which was also a very devastating event. And I shared, some of the challenges I had with the loss, and then also some ways that I was able to recover from the loss. But I don't even want to talk about me. I want to talk about how amazing my students were. So because I was willing to be uncomfortable in front of the class and share what I had been through, the class was amazing. Students shared, which is really devastating. One of the students shared she lost a friend a year ago to suicide. Another friend shared he lost a friend to an overdose. Another student shared he lost his mom when he was really young. And then the craziest thing is, after all this sharing, everyone was super supportive and talking about ways to handle loss and handle either offering support to someone going through loss or receiving support in the healthiest way. But a student stayed after to talk to me and shared with me he'd actually attempted suicide twice and didn't really see much reason for living. For him, didn't see much value in life. And I was so blown away that he was willing to share this with me. It really kind of took my breath away, that I had opened the door for him to share this experience with me. And I sat with him and we talked about his experience. And he'd asked me, because I had shared I was really angry with my friend who had committed suicide. He'd asked me if I was still angry with my friend, and I said I wasn't, because I also have been through some pretty dark periods in my life where sometimes I had entertained the idea of what, maybe suicide's an option. Maybe I should take myself out. And so I got to the place where I could no longer be in a place of judgment. And who am I anyway to be in a place of judgment? But I was no longer angry, because I can't even pretend to imagine what my friend must have been going through for him to be able to take his life. And when he heard me say that, that's when he shared that he had recently tried to take his life and didn't see much point. And I shared how I had come to terms with the losses that I've experienced, and that what has helped me in this whole understanding of this crazy thing called life is that, hey Anna, so nice to have you here. What has helped me was to have that understanding of the opposite ends of the spectrum, right? So for me to have experienced such extreme turmoil when I had those significant losses in my life, to me meant I must have experienced such a high degree of love and joy, because you can't have one without the other. And so what I was sharing with him is of course I didn't enjoy the turmoil, and I would rather not have experienced those losses, but I would never, ever take away the love and the joy I got to experience with those people. And if that was showing me the level of depth that I could reach, both in the positive and the negative, then I can't take the negative away. Because if I throw the negative away, I have to throw the positive away. Does that make sense? So you can't have the dark without the light, or the light without the dark. They need each other. And that is kind of what I posted earlier today, that life and death always walk hand in hand. And it's walking kind of the tightrope of those two worlds, of the extreme, not the extremes necessarily, but the depths of despair to the heights of euphoria, and everywhere in between. And that is life in all its messy glory and messy beauty. Hi, Mike. So nice to see you. I'm talking about vulnerability and how when we're willing to be vulnerable and uncomfortable and share maybe some just uncomfortable emotions, it just opens the door to such amazing beauty and connection. Because I don't know that I would have had that experience with this class if I had not been the one to step in the fire and share my difficulties with depression and with loss and all those lovely things that happen. And that's a part of life. I mean, there's no avoiding loss. And it's what we choose to do with it, what we choose to learn from it, and how we choose to be after it is what makes life so incredibly amazing. All right, do y'all have any questions? So fun. I haven't gone live on my personal page in a long time because I was scared. I was totally scared. So I'm facing my fear and going live. Hey, Trent, so nice to see you. So fun to have people hanging out with me. I was just talking about here in the classroom, you can see my classroom. I was sharing that in my classroom, I was able to really get to a whole new level with my students simply because I was willing to share my story. And my story isn't pretty, and it's not organized, and it's not, directly clear the route I've taken, but it's my story, and being able to share that and allowed my students to share their stories, and their stories are just equally amazing, and the things they've overcome is phenomenal, honestly. So my takeaways for you all, if you're willing to take it on, is to be willing to be vulnerable, be willing to show up and just speak who you are, what you're experiencing, what you've been through, what you've overcome, what you're working toward, even if you're still in the process, even if you're still a mess. Inviting people into your mess is so amazing. So, and allows people to see you in a whole different way, and allows them also to see they can share their mess, because that's such a heavy load to carry if you feel like you have to have it all together all the time before you show up, which, calling myself out, I've been doing that a lot and not showing up on Facebook very often. So I appreciate you all being here on my coming out video, coming out of the darkness. All right, that's all I have for now. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I hope you all can just, take this to heart and share something about yourself in your next encounter, in your next conversation, because we all want to see you. We all want to know who you truly are. We want to know what's going on. What are you really feeling in your world? What's important to you? What are you afraid of? What do you dream of? That's what makes you who you are, and that's what makes your life so beautiful. All of it. All right, I'm going to get out of here. Thanks so much for being here. Bye.